What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Seeking Sister Wife, Season 6, Episode 6. I'm kind of vanilla in bed. So I have to do Seeking Sister Wife before I do 90 Day Fiance the other way because my DVR did not record 90 Day Fiance the other way. So my DVR is going to catch that on the replay later on tonight, and I will do that review tomorrow. So I do apologize for that. But let's get into Seeking Sister Wife, Yesel and Dani. So we are still at the pub that they were at, where they were introducing Jackie, their potential sister wife, to their friends, Yesel's brother, and Yesel's ex fiance, who was also the mother of his oldest child. And remember that the ex fiance wanted to have a conversation, or she wanted to meet Jackie because Jackie will potentially be around her child. And so she wanted to know what Jackie was all about. So I'm assuming that the jury is still out on that. The ex fiance, I think her name is Leah. She really didn't give her final conclusion on Jackie because this is just the first meeting, and she probably still has to spend more time with her to figure out exactly how she feels about her. So the brother, Yesel's brother, he had a conversation with Jackie, and he asked Jackie something about like, how do you feel about the process, or why do you want to do this? Whatever answer she gave a really good answer, and he did like her answer. Now, he's met her before. This is not the first time that he's met. Wait a minute, he hadn't met Jackie before. No. This was his first time meeting Jackie. He had not met Jackie before. So he asked her, like, why are you doing this? She gave her an answer. He liked her answer, but he was like, I'm still going to be very cautious about this because he said that this is very new to everybody, and so, he really doesn't know how to feel about the whole entire process, doesn't really know how to feel about Jackie herself. But the answer that she gave, he was satisfied with. So when a group of them were all standing together, along with Dani and Yesel, I was looking at what Dani was wearing. And I was getting PTSD from what the other Dani was wearing, Dani and Garrick and Lorena, what she was wearing when she had gone out on an outing with her husband and Lorena, their potential sister wife. In that scene, that Dani had on, it was cold outside. Okay, you could tell by how everybody else was dressed. It was cold outside, and they were walking around outside. And Danielle had like a mini dress with her thigh high boots, whereas everybody else was wearing pants and sweaters and jackets and scarves. And it was almost like she was in competition with their potential sister wife, Lorena. Like she was trying to prove to her husband, yeah, she might be younger than me and all that, but I still got it. And with this Dani, it was sort of similar because when they were like standing in this group, everybody was bundled up. Everybody had on their jackets and their pants and sweaters and ski caps and whatnot. And she had on, y'all, she had on this outfit. I don't know what the hell it was. She had like a cover. I don't know if this was a dress or just a cover up, but it was completely sheer and see through. You could see right through it, and then like she had on some like her, you could see her underwear. She had on a pair of black underwear, kind of like grandma panties, and then she had this sheer thing over it. And it almost looked like something that you would wear, obviously, like to the beach, or you would wear as lingerie in the bedroom. Like I didn't understand why she was wearing this when obviously it looked like the weather was cold. Everybody else was dressed appropriately for the weather, but she had to have something that was very sexy, very see through. You could see her underwear. And it was like she was in competition with Jackie, like letting Yesel know you might be very interested in her and she's very interested in you, but I still got it. I still got what it takes. I don't know if she was trying to send a message to Jackie like, hey, I'm not intimidated by you. Um, he's got all of this, he can have this anytime he, I don't know what was going on, but it was just really bizarre to see what she was wearing. So when Jackie leaves, Yesel gave her a hug, and in his confessional, he tells us that he wanted to do more than just give her a hug. He also wanted to give her a kiss goodbye, but because Dani was right there, he felt like he couldn't. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do because in one part I'm like, yes, it's good that he's showing respect to his wife, like he's not gonna tongue down this woman with his wife sitting right there. But if it was just like a little peck or a kiss on the cheek to say goodnight, I didn't think that would have been that big of a deal. If he's overthinking the littlest things, it's to me, I feel like has like he has like a very strong attraction towards Jackie, and he's like second guessing everything he does because he doesn't want to upset Dani. He doesn't want to make Dani jealous. So every little thing he does, he's going to overthink it because he's going to be so worried about what is Dani thinking. That's just my personal opinion. Moving on from there, it's another day, and Yesel is getting ready to leave for work. And whenever he leaves for work, he's going to be gone for months at a time. And so, um, it's very difficult for Dani when he's gone because she's left at home alone with the kids, and she also has to work, and so she doesn't have that extra help. And I forgot to mention also one more thing. In my last review, I had said that Dani was the one that had initiated this whole sister wife thing, like it was her idea for them to do it. And somebody rightfully corrected me in the comments and said, no, it was not Dani's idea to seek a sister wife. It was Yesel's idea to seek a sister wife. And I do remember him giving this PowerPoint presentation of the pros and cons of having a sister wife, and he somehow convinced Dani to go along with it. So that was my mistake. It was Yesel that had wanted to do the sister wife thing. And so with him being gone for months at a time, I'm wondering if he used that as one of the pro reasons of why they should have a sister wife, because then Dani will still have companionship and she would be able to have help around the house if they had a sister wife. So Dani says that she feels very optimistic about Jackie, and Dani's not going to have to be alone if Jackie was, was she was if they had approved her and she was already a part of their family, she wouldn't have to be alone during this time and she would have the help around the house. So Yeso tells his wife Dani that he wants to FaceTime Jackie because he wants to tell her goodbye. So they do that. He tells her goodbye. And Dani says that this is what I thought was hilarious. After their phone call with Jackie, Dani tells us that if she doesn't maintain a relationship with Jackie, then Yesel and Jackie won't be able to maintain their relationship. And I was like, girl, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Let me tell you why I beg to differ on that. Yesel and Jackie would get along just fine without Dani. In fact, I think that Yesel and Jackie's relationship would have progressed a lot further if it wasn't for Dani being in the middle of it all, demanding to be in the middle of it all. So for her to say that, I was like, girl, you are so far removed from what's really going on. Like, can't you tell that your husband is really into this woman and this woman has given him the green light that she's down for whatever? As long as he gets the permission from you, she's down for whatever he wants to do. Like, what do you mean that you have to maintain a relationship with Jackie in order for them to maintain their relationship? Girl, you are almost like a non factor in this situation. You're almost like a non-factor because they're getting along just fine. I'm pretty sure they're having plenty of side conversations separate and apart from Dani. I guarantee it. Okay. So for her to think that she's the glue that holds them two together, baby, no. Absolutely not. You're actually in their way. So Yeso brings up the subject of having more children. I'm assuming he means more children with Jackie. And Dani says no. And then Yeso is like, you're not even willing to consider it, possibly change your mind about it. And Dani's like, no, I'm not going to change my mind about it. I don't want you to have any more kids with anybody else. Point blank, period. And I'm not going to budge. So Yeso says ideally he would want more kids. And he tells her that they could lose Jackie over this whole kid situation. And I don't think Jackie really cares, but Yesel is concerned because he doesn't want to lose Jackie. In fact, Yesel tells us that him and Jackie have been bonding more and more every day. And okay, let's stop right there. He says that him and Jackie have been bonding more and more every day, which means that they probably are talking every day, right? And because I don't think Dani so much wants to be involved in their conversations, I think she just wants to be aware that they're conversing. And if she is aware that they're talking every day, like, why doesn't she see that they're getting closer and closer and that they really don't need her? She's not needed for those two to maintain a relationship. Like, I don't understand why she doesn't get that. So Yesel tells us that they've been bonding more and more every day. He also tells us that him and Jackie have been talking about the future. They've been talking about taking trips together. They've been getting to know more about each other's families. And he's worried that by the time he comes back from work in a few months' time, that Jackie may not be there anymore because Dani's going to have a conversation with Jackie about the whole baby situation and how much she doesn't want uh, Jackie, how much she doesn't want her husband to have any more children. So that's probably going to be like a deal breaker for Jackie. Now, this is the thing. So now I've remembered now that Yesel is the one that wanted a sister wife, not so much Dani, but for whatever reason, she's going along with it. I don't know if she's going along with it because that's what her heart is telling her to do, or if she's going along with it just for them to be on this show and get a check, or if she's going along with it because she feels pressured by her husband. I don't know. But let's assume that's got nothing to do with the show and this is their real life and she's going along with it either because her husband is pressuring her or because her heart is telling her to do this. If you're going to involve another woman and you're adamant about her not having a baby, either tell your husband to get a vasectomy, okay? And make sure that you do everything the right way, that he doesn't jump into the pool before his swimmers are not able to swim anymore, okay? Um, or get a woman that's no longer of childbearing age, or get a woman that no longer has the reproductive system to produce a child, like someone who's had their ovaries removed or their uterus removed. Honey, that's the only way that you can guarantee that your husband will not have any more children with somebody else. But if she's fertile myrtle, she's able to have kids and she's open to the idea of kids, like it's not going to devastate her if she gets pregnant by your husband, you're going to have a problem. You're going to, every single month, you're going to be worried. Oh my God, is she pregnant? Am I seeing signs? Is she throwing up because she's pregnant? Is she feeling nauseous because she's pregnant? Is she getting a belly? Is she gaining weight? Every month, you're going to be stressed the hell out. So either get someone who can't have children or have your husband get a damn vasectomy. Like, I don't understand. Moving on to Matt and Angelica. Y'all, Angelica has been working overtime, double time, trying to bring her husband and Shanae back together. So now she's meeting up with Shanae. I thought she was going to meet up with Shanae to tell Shanae that they went to go see another potential sister wife. That's what I thought this whole meeting was for. But instead, they talked about Matt and how Matt had reached out to Shanae and have sent her this long, elaborate text about how much he loves her, how much he misses her, and he wants her back, basically. And Shanae never responded to the text because she was like, he didn't do any other follow up. Well, I'm thinking to myself, I understand that Matt is not great. He's not the best boyfriend. His communication skills are very, very lacking. I get that. But if he sent this long text, and that's kind of like out of his character to do that, she could have at least responded to the text message. And then maybe then he would have followed up with something else. But because she didn't respond, maybe he was like, okay, maybe she's just not interested. Why am I going to respond? Why am I going to do anything else? Or she's not even going to respond to my text. Well, Angelica got into his ear and basically told him you need to do something. Okay, she's waiting for you to follow up with some type of action. It's enough with the words, enough with the jaw jacking. Now you got to follow up with some action. So what he decides to do is he decides to take her out on a date. So he gets all gussied up. He's got roses for her and everything, and he wants to take her out on this date. So that's where we left off. He's waiting for her to show up. Now back to the meeting between Angelica and Shanae. So Angelica tells us that her relationship with Shanae was definitely affected by Shanae and Matt breaking up. She said that her and Shanae were not talking as much as they used to. She talks about how she really misses her sister. And during their meeting, Shanae asked Angelica, have y'all been meeting with any other potential sister wives? And instead of telling Shanae the truth and say, yes, we met with this chick named Marilyn, she instead tells Shanae, well, you're going to have to ask Matt that. So now that's put this bug in her brain that he could potentially be wanting to see somebody else. And I think in the clip that they showed us for next week's episode, she's going to talk about how it's going to be devastating for her to find out that Matt was potentially seeking another sister wife. But that's for next week, I think. So I was just surprised that Angelica didn't talk about Marilyn. That's all. This whole meeting to me was kind of like, I thought the purpose of this was for you to tell her about Marilyn, but no, she didn't. So Angelica then tells us that she feels very conflicted because she's loyal to her husband, so she doesn't want to betray his confidence. And I guess she feels like it's up to him if he wants Sinead to know about Marilyn. And, he has to do that. So she's not gonna, go behind his back and do it. And she also feels very conflicted because she has very strong feelings for Sinead. Someone in my comment had said that maybe, and I think I even said this myself, I kind of hinted at this, that maybe Angelica might be having like more than friendship or more than sisterly feelings for Shanae. I'm on the fence about that, even though I hinted at that last week. I kind of don't think so. I don't know. Maybe she does. Maybe she is having feelings for Shanae. And that's why she doesn't want to let her go. I don't know. Maybe she's hoping that as Shanae and Matt get closer, maybe then they can start doing things, the three of them, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Maybe that's what Angelica is hoping for. I don't know. But I also feel like maybe not. Maybe she just has, friendship vibes with Shanae and that she just really wants help with Matt. Like, I don't know why I have this inkling in my mind that Matt probably has an extremely high libido and she just can't handle that all the time. And she needs someone else to help her with it. I don't know what's going on because, you know, I don't think Angelica is being very, very transparent with us. Because she's not explaining why she's working so hard to keep them together. And it's got to be more than just, oh, I'm going to lose a sister. Because, like, I still don't understand why they couldn't be friends separate and apart from Matt. If Matt and Shanae didn't work out, why can't Angelica and Shanae be friends? Unless Shanae feels like it's going to be too much for her to handle to be friends with her ex boyfriend. Is, no, it's going to be like too emotionally taxing for her. I don't know. I just wish Angelica would be more truthful about why she's feeling the way she's feeling. Moving on to Reese and Billie Jean. So Reese is going to be going out on a blind date. The blind date was set up by one of Billie Jean's friends that we met a couple of weeks ago. So he drives to the ice cream parlor to meet up with her. And we see Bess. And Bess is an interesting character. She has wild, crazy purple hair and the initial meeting between them was extremely awkward. I think Reese was going in for a hug when she walked into the ice cream shop and they introduced each other to themselves or they greeted each other. I think he was going in for a hug, but she stuck out her hand instead. And so he had to settle with a handshake. Bess tells us that she has thought about plural relationships before. So this is something that she's very open to, very interested in. And Reese's first impression of Bess was that she must be wild because her hair was purple. Reese also said that Billie Jean thinks, oh, so while they were at the ice cream shop and they were looking at the different flavors of ice cream, the subject of vanilla came up. And I think he said like he prefers vanilla. And then he mentioned how his wife, Billie Jean, says that he's very vanilla in bed. And this was like an automatic concern for Bess because she was like, damn, if a wife is calling her own husband vanilla, and says that he's too vanilla in bed, that's worrisome for me because she doesn't want vanilla. She wants to keep things, super spicy. So she said, and she also said that she wants a very manly man. And if Reese is vanilla, then he's not manly enough for her. And I think she specifically said, I don't want to be with somebody who I'm more manly than they are. So now we're getting into the whole realm of Reese's sexuality. So she tells when the producers asked her, "What did you mean but when you said that you didn't want to be more manly than him? What did that mean?" And she was like, "Well, he seems like he does plays." And the producers were like, "What do you mean by that?" And she said, "Well, he seems very flamboyant." Okay. So obviously, and she even asked him when they sat down and eat the ice cream, she even asked him, "Have you ever slept with a man?" And he said, "No, he never has." And then I think he asked her, "Why do you ask?" And she was like, "Well, I just wanted to know, like, what your limits are, what your boundaries are." But we know that she asked that because she thinks that he's probably either bisexual or homosexual, and so she really wanted to get to the bottom of that. Bess asks, so what is this all about? What are you and your wife actually looking for? And he talks about how they're looking for a sister wife. He talks about how um, she will have like her own house on their property and it's going to be like a community that they're going to be building. And Bess was like, I'm just trying to get freaky deaky. Like, I ain't trying to do chores and, pick up, cow poop and all of that. I ain't about that life. I'm just trying to get freaky. I want to have a good time. I want to have fun. And Reese was like, oh, so you thought this was going to be like a polyamory type of thing where we're all involved with each other. And she's like, hell yeah, I want to get down and dirty with the both of y'all. And Reese was like, I'm sorry, hon, it ain't that kind of party because there'll be absolutely no sexual interaction between you and my wife. Okay. That's not, no, that's not what it is. And y'all, she got up and left. Okay. She was like, okay, well, I think we're looking for two different things. Nice meeting you. And this woman got up and hightailed it the hell out of there. And yeah, she did tell him, it's not going to work. I think we're looking for two different things. She did kind of give an explanation. And then she ran out of there so damn fast. Um, all she left behind was smoke. She left expeditiously. Moving on to the Davis family. Y'all, I'm so sick and tired of Teresa. I am so sick and tired of sobbing, weeping Teresa. Like, girl, get it together. Okay, you're bold enough to come into this situation, whatever the situation is to you, whether the situation is you being on a TV show or the situation is you trying to become part of this poly family, whatever the hell is. Girl, I need you to get it together. And like you're brave enough to do all of this, but then you start having all of these doubts about yourself. Like, I'm not understanding. So she had an idea that all three women should go do a boudoir photo shoot and surprise Nick with it. So when they get there, the photographer actually asked, what are y'all to each other? And so this gave them, too bad Nick wasn't there because he loves to explain about who they all are to each other. So the women were like, well, we have a husband in common and we're all, we're doing this for our husband. Okay, fine. So the photo shoot was Teresa's idea because she wants to solidify her position in the family. I don't know how a photo shoot is going to do that. Maybe a little bit of confidence and not being so needy and desperate would help. I don't think a photo shoot is going to help you solidify anything in this family. So during the makeup and hair part, Teresa starts crying. Charles, she starts crying while they're doing her hair and makeup. And the photographer's like, what's wrong? And she says, well, I feel really ugly. I don't feel attractive. And the photographer was trying to like give her a pep talk and make her feel good about herself. And April and Jennifer noticed that she was crying. And they were telling us in their confessional, April was, okay, the HBIC. She was telling us that it's very common for women who are coming into their family dynamic to feel intimidated by her and April because they are very successful in life and they do come off as intimidating. Jennifer, too, April. Jennifer comes off as intimidating because to me, between April and Jennifer is so meek and mild and quiet. She doesn't give intimidation vibes. And then April, to me, she's intimidating because she just comes off as mean. She looks mean as hell. And she looks very critical and she looks very judgmental. Maybe that's what she means. But it ain't because of your success in life, sweetheart. It's because you just look intimidating as hell. Okay? You look intimidating as you look like a rabid dog that's going to bite somebody if they get too close to Nick. So where am I? Because okay, they've noticed that Teresa's been struggling a lot. They've noticed that she talks down about herself quite a bit, and that's very concerning to April. Okay, like I said, the photographer tried to cheer her up and try to make her feel better about herself. Teresa tells us that she loves that little man. She loves that little man, and she says that she is willing to give her whole entire heart and soul for him, and that she wishes that she could give him the world and then some. So this is giving desperation. I don't understand why she doesn't allow Nick to chase her. Anytime, this is my personal opinion. Of course, there's an exception to every rule. My personal opinion is when a woman is trying so hard to pursue a man and the man is kind of only giving her 10%, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Teresa, pack your bags and call it a day. It's just not going to work. I don't know what it is about men. Men, I know, want to be pursued. I know they would like a woman to initiate some kind of interaction, like if they're at a bar or somewhere and a woman makes eye contact, and if she walks over to him and asks for his number or whatever, for a lot of men, that's going to be attractive and impressive. But I think with Teresa, it's just too needy and too desperate. And it kind of has to be a give and take. And she's not allowing Nick to try to pursue her in any kind of way. You know what I mean? I think most men like to pursue. And she's not allowing Nick to do that. And I think that's what's really turning him off. And he can't shake off the friend vibes because she's just coming off way, "Oh, I'll do anything for you. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll change my name for you. I'll marry somebody else for you. I'll do whatever it takes to be a part of this." And it's just a turn off, right? So the photo shoot begins. Teresa feels a little bit better. We see some of Teresa's photos. We see some of April's photos, and then we see Jennifer's photos. Everything was fine. Jennifer, they did a really good job in camouflaging her pregnant stomach, because I was wondering, how are they going to do this? Was her belly going to be featured in the photo shoot? But no, they tried to camouflage that. So yeah, whatever. The pictures were fine, I guess. Nick will be very, very pleased. And that's my little review, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you tomorrow. Bye.